Are you still holding your GameStop?
No, I'm not actually.
No diamond hands, bro. It just hit like 220, man. Paper hands. Oh shit, we're live, bro. We're live.
Welcome everyone to the 10K Rum Podcast. My name is Amos Joseph, of course, joined by my co-host Brook Potter in the UK. How's it going, Brook?
It's going well, Amos. It's going very well. Oh, I've got the other audio on. Let me just put that on pause. Yeah, it's going well. We're coming out of winter out here, and it's been kind of a slow week. Not a lot going on. But one of the few instances where the UK actually does take up some headlines. We do have some interesting stories to discuss today about Meghan and the royal family and all that good stuff. So, yeah, I'm actually looking forward to talking about some UK stuff rather than all this American stuff. Because basically you guys are boring as fuck this week. You have not entertaining your European
we have better things to care about than freaking
dance monkey bullshit. Dance. How you doing, man? How you doing?
Doing good. So let's see here. What do we got going on? Things are going all right over here. It's definitely the weather is really nice. The snow is melting. False spring is in full swing.
Yeah, that old false spring. You never know.
Exactly. It's like, oh, it's so nice. I could go out in shorts and t-shirt, sandals. We can go to the beach, and then, the frozen beach probably, and then boom, there's going to be snow at the end of the month. Yeah. That's literally how it is.
Yeah, we actually had a pretty good day yesterday. It got up to about maybe 14 degrees Celsius, and that is for us out here. That's like short pants weather. You could go out and stuff like that. Didn't last. By the evening time, it was less than 0. So we're experiencing a bit of that. Maybe we learned it from you guys. I don't know.
It's possible. Definitely possible. So there's that going on. I was telling you a little bit. Some people probably noticed. StreamYard is a pretty low computing power kind of process that the computer does. But it's real nice when you find out that basically Macs suck at cooling.
They're not cool. I thought Macs were all about being cool. What's up with
They're all about being quiet.
They're all about being. Oh, so it's a failure then.
Yeah, so what happens is their fans, their fans are set up to basically we try to make our computer as quiet as possible until the CPU is about to melt. Then we kick on the fan. So I basically was doing a little research, talking to some people, and found out that, hey, you can do manual control of the fan and cool off the CPU better so you can run a little better. Granted, it's still slow. But it's just not as laggy. Like there's more smooth functions. So right now I got it on full blast.
Good.
And you can't really tell too much difference except on my end. So, but before we get into stuff now, we're going to talk quickly about tactical soap.
Washing your balls. Wash your balls, guys.
Check out tacticalsoap.com.
I was going to say we should team up with Manscaped so you can shave your balls and wash your balls at the same time. I don't know if you've been getting those ads on YouTube, but I have. Maybe they know
all over the place, man.
Yeah, they probably know lockdown's coming to an end, so it's about time to trim them hedges. You know what I'm saying? But yes, do continue. Wash your balls, guys. Wash your balls.
Use the coupon code 10K Rum at the tacticalsoap.com website so you can get 10% off, as well as a little bit of that goes to supporting the show. Or check out subscribestar.com/Chitler-Preachers to get, that's weird, to get basically
off. 10% off.
No, Subscribestar to pledge the show for as little as $1 a month. Sorry, right. Work was trying to call me.
Oh no! Do you need to take a sabbatical? Do I need to talk about the weather for 5 minutes?
Shouldn't have to. No, I'll just get back to them.
All right, no problem.
Yeah, there we go. What's up? There we go. Anyways, do check out our links. Everything is below. And
we are available on all major podcasting platforms.
Yes, we are.
Guys, be sure to add us to your download list. It really helps out the show. Be sure to leave us a review or anything like that.
And of
It all
course, as
helps us
always,
out in
listen
the
to the previous shows too, not just the recent ones.
Of course, we do have some
Download to
spicy
downloads.
episodes. Absolutely, absolutely. So with that said, Amos, what happened to your paper, your diamond hands, man? What's going on? Did you like pussy out?
It was dropping so low that I didn't think it was like, I thought it was like, oh, we're all gonna like, it's gonna squeeze, it's gonna go up, and then we all cash out and we're done. No, it just, once it dropped way too low, I was like, I'm not playing with this anymore.
No diamond hands.
No diamond hands on my end. No.
Okay. I think I just checked it. It's like 220. So I think your break even was about 220. So you could have actually came out at least, not losing any money. But good on you, man. Good on you. Got to do what's best for you. And for those who don't know, we're talking about the GameStop stock squeeze that we discussed in previous episodes. Yeah, the price is rallying again. And I believe DFV, Deep Fucking Value, went on CNBC and he kind of said he likes the stock, and it's rallied 400% since then. So I'm all our best to the Wall Street bets retards. I hope they're all doing well.
Yeah. So everyone's kind of looking at this title of the show, and they're definitely wondering what the heck's going on. But people know what we're talking about. I mean, the big one that I think I want to get into first, because this is the real spicy one, is Super Straight.
Super Straight. Yeah.
I because obviously there's been like the contention over the topic of, if you are a straight man and you decide not to date
trans women,
let alone sleep with a trans woman, you're transphobe, you're all this stuff, you're bigot and all this. And I thought, it's dumb stuff. But apparently there's a word for that. Super straight.
No. The word for that is straight. But what ended up happening was Kyle Royce on TikTok basically got tired of people calling him a transphobe. So he turned it into a new sexual orientation called super straight. And he did it as a joke. He didn't really, it's, whatever. Like you can't now talk to me about this because it's now a sexual orientation where, he'd rather not deal with trans people, trans women. And in usual autism of the internet fashion, it became a thing. It's got its own logo. And of course, the leftists and the blue check marks of Twitter are trying to link it to the alt-right, Nazis, and the SS. Super straight, SS. It's obviously the same thing. So yeah. So I guess we are super straight at this point because we don't like dick. Is that kind of what's this about?
I don't know. It's you got to be extra straight. I mean, that's the thing. Is like
how straight can you get?
Straight, but you're straighter than straight. You're a straight edge of straightness.
I mean, I think I may have had an encounter in Thailand that may have kind of bent my super straightness, but I didn't find that out until after certain things had taken place. If anyone wants to hear that story, you got to join our Subscribe Star to get the full details on that. But I'm not sure if I'm super straight now. It's like, wait a minute, what's going on? But yes, this is taken over the Twitter sphere, and of course, the blue check marks, and I think was it Pink News or whatever. They were very upset. So yeah. So are you a transphobe or are you super straight? What's going on, Amos?
Guess I'm super straight. I mean, that's what's ridiculous. Is like. And I even saw like charts started coming out. Like if you're, this is what super straight is. This is what regular straight is.
Regular straight.
It's like, yeah.
I mean, I really don't care if somebody is into the word in Thai is katoi, right? Which is the ladyboy, right? I know some people who are like really into that shit, man. Like they think that's like, whatever that floats their boat sort of thing. I don't care. I really don't care. You do you. You go off and do whatever it is that you think you need to do to, be happy. And I want everybody to be happy. I mean, Blair White is, of course, one of the most prominent kind of trans persons out there. I mean, yeah, I've looked at Blair White, and of course, I'd say she's attractive and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, if it got down to the nitty gritty, and that macaroni was like slapping me in the face and shit, I think I may have some reservations about going any further. If I could play with just the top half, I think I'll be all right. But is that like half straight? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's the there was a conversation, we'll just say that, and I was like, you remember the infamous question of, are traps gay?
Are traps gay? Yes. Yeah.
No, traps is different.
We're getting demonetized for sure.
Different ways of kind of addressing the overall topic of, like, if you were to like meet someone who looked very convincingly female, and then you went out and there was a great night, and then later you found out that things weren't quite all that they seemed. Like, are you gay now? Some guys said yes, some guys said no. There was pretty much a philosophical debate of an entire meme generation, I would say.
Yeah.
And I remember how funny it was. Like, then it wasn't just the question became the joke. It wasn't even the topic. It was just the question.
The question became the meme. Yeah.
So people started like creatively asking the question.
Yes.
And then people would be like, hold on, did you just ask me if traps are gay?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
have you ever found Blair White attractive?
Have I ever found Blair White attractive? Yeah, it's definitely like crossed my mind. It's just, but knowing.
It's not the straightest thing in the world, but it's not the gayest thing in the world either. Could we say that? Could we say that?
Yeah, like, no, I think very few guys would ever just be like, nah, never. It's like, yeah, you have. Like, there's that thought. I mean,
there's an interesting story with you kind of confronting that in Thailand.
Oh, we all confronted that in Thailand.
We all confronted that in Thailand.
Don't just say it's me. All of us.
Granted.
we were in Thailand. Well, so you remember our friend who was from Miami? We'll just say
yes.
He was going around talking to people.
Yes.
And he like walked up to these girls, and they were like dancing in front of a club or something.
Yes.
And we're over there kind of like,
in the red light district.
Yeah. So you're like, yeah, he's really going for it. All right. So we're doing ministry in quotes.
Outreach.
Yeah. And he comes back and he goes, yeah, like, I tried talking to them and they seem real nice, and just he didn't know. Yeah, I think exactly. It was you that went up to him like, hey, those are men.
Yeah.
And he was like, what? Yeah, men. And he goes, oh God, what? Like, he's just like freaking out, like, men can't move like that, like, because they're like doing little dances and stuff and seem very feminine.
Very feminine. Very feminine.
I remember just walking through some of these areas, and like I would get winks from ladyboys, and it was like, you wouldn't know. Like, you'd be like, oh, hey, oh, never mind. Like,
yeah. I mean, that's kind of what happened to me in Thailand more recently. So not that trip, but I went out there more recently for other things in business and a conference. And they were pretty aggressive. Like, they would walk up to me and like wrap their hand on me and like, walk with me down the street and stuff like that. And yeah, one night, a lot of drinking, something happened. I realized the plumbing wasn't quite working out. While I was dancing with what I thought was a woman on the dance floor, that kind of sparked an interesting conversation. And then later on, there was another experience, and it's kind of like everybody came back to me afterwards, like, you do realize that was a Katoy, right? That was a ladyboy. So yeah. The funny thing is, I actually know like some really alpha guys who are like totally into that, and like they'll pull anything and anything into the bedroom, like six, people, 4 women and two toys and, 2 lady boys. And I mean, I'm kind of taken back by it, but that seems to be kind of a thing, it goes back to the question of if a man likes, like a finger in his ass during sex, does that make him gay? Like that was a question that was going around in the late 90s. I don't know. Amos, do you like a finger in your ass when you're having sex?
Let's just say, check out our subscribe star for our Raw Take series where we talk about the real spicy topics. For $5 a month, you get to watch our special videos like that. No, I'll say this, like there's definitely and I've had this discussion with different guys like about the greater topic of like having an understanding of sexuality and different things you can do to make things more fun, we'll say. And some guys are just like very basic, like, oh, I just stick this in there and I do this and we're all good. And it's like some other guys are like, yeah, but if I stick this in here and then use this and this and this and this, all these different, we'll just say, tools, you can accomplish a lot more. So having an understanding of your own anatomy definitely helps, because it's not necessarily sticking it in your butt. There's other factors involved in that.
We'll have to do a how-to video on Subscribe Star for our
how-to.
But yeah, that's definitely a conversation for the Subscribe Star. That's not going to stay on our streaming very long. But yeah, I mean, so what do you think? Super straight? Yes, no, maybe, or it's just a meme that 4chan is gonna blow up into something to piss off the leftists.
I think it was meant to be a bit of a troll, because like that is the problem now, is like you have this fringe idea that basically you have to like you're some sort of a phobic person by not wanting to date these people, let alone have sex with them, stuff like that. And it's like, no, that's just preferences. Like it's kind of like the whole thing with like okay, for example, some people don't understand why I'm not as attracted to Asian women as I am to white women. And it's a weird thing. A lot of Asian American men have that. Just don't know why. It's a thing. Now, do I not find? Is that saying I'm not attracted to Asian women? No, of course not. It just means I'm just not as attracted. There's different factors to it, like culture, just Asian culture with dating and intimacy are just very kind of a turn off for me. Right. That's what's one way of looking at it. But so this is the thing: is they use all these justifications. Oh, you're racist. It's like no. I just have preferences.
You're a ghost chaser.
Wow. I don't know if that's what we're calling it, but okay.
That's the phrase. If you the Asian community calls them ghost chasers. White, Asians that go after white men and women is called a ghost chaser. That's actually a thing.
That's so weird.
Yeah, but it's so common it actually has a term in the Asian community. So
now, why does that makes no sense?
What's that?
Oh, nothing. It's just I don't like, and that's the thing too, is a phrase like ghost chaser that Asians use.
Yeah,
is interesting. We'll just say like they're more open to just kind of call it out, and with very politically correct language, we'll just say like just like
tell it as it is.
Yeah, because there's a lot of like cancel cultures try to kind of mess around with like Chinese commercials. You've probably seen some of those.
Yeah, there
was the famous infamous, I should say, one where
the
washing machine where they threw a black guy in a washing machine, came out as an Asian guy. There is a toothpaste.
Yeah, I think I may have seen this one as well.
Yeah, it's in Taiwan. So in Chinese, it's directly translated to be black man toothpaste, black person toothpaste.
Yeah.
But they translate it to Darky toothpaste. And it's
Right.
like, what? And here's what it is. If you look at the logo, it looks like Bing Crosby.
Bing Crosby. Okay.
It looks like kind of well, not like him per se, but it has that similar face, that old like 40s, not even 40, yeah,
Yeah, like around
30s,
that time.
40. Yeah, you're
Caricature.
kind of that caricature of like that old American man sort of face,
Right.
wearing a top hat and it's colored in a black scheme.
Right.
That's all. It's not like an actual African person or an African American, black person. It's not that.
Right.
So it's just weird.
I don't think anybody's denying that Asia is very racist. I don't think even amongst their own people, right? So the Japanese, as we know, I interviewed a guest who's half Japanese and half American, and he talked about that even though he has direct lineage, they will never consider him truly Japanese, right? Because he's half and half. So for the Japanese, it's hafu, as the other culture is hapa. And they would literally call him that, and that's like a derogatory term in Japan. So the Japanese and the Asians, they don't mess around, man. They don't even like other Asians, right? So yeah, it's pretty messed up.
That's the thing. They're especially like, and also even like between like I remember in like Europe. So I've worked with some Russian speaking coworkers, and there was when I asked them if they were Russian, they got really offended.
Yeah, they're probably Slavic.
Belarusian.
Belarus, yeah. Well, that would be considered Slavic, yeah.
And then they were like, we're from Belarus. And I said, oh, okay, fine. And then there was this other group of people, like a couple of other guys who used to work there, who like were friends with people who worked. Anyways, they came by. They were kind of hanging out with some of the people on their break and whatever.
Yeah.
And they also spoke Russian. But these Belarusian people didn't like them. And I was like, why don't you like them? Well, they're Moldovan.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? So then I asked my aunt, who's Lithuanian, like,
yes, another fallout from the USSR.
And I'm like, well, what is this? Like, is there some sort of rivalry or some sort of tension between the different former Soviet states? She goes, sometimes. Depends. And then they also don't like being called Russian and all this. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So it was interesting, like learning about all that. And there's some of that in Asia.
Yes, indeed.
It gets a little more tricky. Like so for me, saying Taiwanese, has political problems to it.
Yes, our overlords are going to cut the stream at any second, I'm sure.
Yeah. So there's that, and then of course there's like Japanese, Korean, and Chinese.
Yeah. And Thai, don't forget Thai.
Can easily get mixed up.
Yeah.
And will cause great offense.
You got the Philippines, you got Laos, you got a lot of because India's right there as well. There's a lot of interesting mixes out in Asia. And as you say, those differences are stark. People actually, they notice those differences. So yeah, definitely something.
Yeah, let's see. Just doing something quick. There we go.
Yeah, is it something racist?
No, just work trying to get me to do some stuff before I come in today. So
okay.
Yeah. Anyways,
I mean, we definitely should speak on the recent international events of International Women's Day. So to all the females and to all the women's out there and the Wimixes and the Latinxes and I don't even know what else, happy International Women's Day. We all know that it was yesterday, right? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. And of course for International Men's Day, which is the 19th of November, is like fuck all for us, right? So we don't get any Google icons or anything like that.
We get a day, but it's, Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I bet you didn't even know it was the 19th of November. Most people don't.
Well, this is kind of the different. I was watching we were talking about I think it was last week. So Rollo Tomasi, who we've had on the channel, and then I think Aaron Clary and Donovan Sharp were over in Miami on the Fresh and Fit podcast, which was Myron Gaines and this other guy. Myron Gaines is actually in Richard Cooper's community, which I was in. Well, I am still in, sorry. Anyways, they had this guy, Kevin Samuels, on there talking about like fairness.
Right.
There's this whole segment about fairness and how the way men and women tend to address fairness. And yeah, you get your guys that are like, what about International Men's Day and all this stuff? But for the most part, we don't like, when we hear about it, like, so you just told me and you said, I bet you don't even know the date. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't know the date. But to be honest, I didn't really care that much.
Yeah.
I should care maybe a little bit, at least. Like, it's a day, maybe say something about it when it comes up. But does it do men in general really care that much about it?
And I would agree, but the reason I care is to point out the hypocrisy of the left.
Oh, no. And I get that. I think, to me, that's a separate thing, which is very valid.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is like you point that out, and it's like, if you want to talk about fairness, you want to talk about equal treatment and all this stuff, there's these things. But then once you address that and the hypocrisy comes out, it further shows that obviously not everything is equal. Not everything is fair.
Correct.
There's obvious differences between men and women. There's obvious differences between cultures. There's differences between political systems. Just because you think something is or should be doesn't mean it always works out that way. There's a lot of ways. Like difference, actual diversity is a thing.
Correct. So you're not subscribed to the blank slate theory that we're all of these things are social constructs?
Some are and some aren't.
Right.
Like there's political ideas that are definitely constructs. Like we agree to live in a democratic society.
Right.
We didn't always agree to live in a democratic society.
Right.
We had to kind of construct like society was constructed in a way, but then how we interact in that are not constructs. Like what we think of things, like, we obviously have laws that address issues that are not constructs. Like violence is a very real thing. We have laws to address that.
Right.
We don't barter anymore. We use money. Money is a construct to address
that's
trading.
A form of bartering still, but yeah.
Yeah, we made it more sophisticated rather than more, basic.
Yeah, we agreed on a unit of currency rather than how many chickens versus
so we
eggs
constructed that. But when it comes to like the difference between you and me, or the difference between me and a woman, those aren't really constructs anymore.
So you're saying if you were born in my family the day I was born and basically raised in my household, you would not be me?
I wouldn't genetically be you.
Racist. Fucking bigot. No, I mean, that is the blank slate theory, that everything is a social construct. Your gender, your identity, your preferences
will be similar. I won't doubt that.
But we might have like similar values, like family values, maybe. But no, I completely agree with you.
But then when it comes to each and every decision that leads to changes in our personality, our beliefs, our values, and all this, our convictions,
correct,
there'd be differences, right? Because of subtle differences in our makeup as people.
Right, correct.
Like,
I mean, I don't know if you've because I don't want to go off into a completely hypothetical big brain discussion. Did you see the controversy that occurred yesterday with Burger King trying to be all high-minded?
Yeah, well, we got to bring it back to International Women's Day. So, the UK Burger King Twitter account. It's what
Is it?
Amos
I
said.
think it could be. Yeah, possibly.
Basically said
Yeah, it
women
was.
belong in a kitchen.
It tweeted out.
Tweeted out, women belong in a kitchen. Full stop.
To which all of the men around the world collectively said, "Amen!" Like, we've been saying this for years.
And it was like both sides of the aisle. You're more, even feminists were like some more, I would say, less triggering feminists that I knew of were like, this is brilliant. Like, because as soon as the mob took over and started freaking out about it, Burger King came out and like
Yes,
clarified.
Yeah, or
We understood this didn't go the way we wanted it to go.
Yes.
Which I think is a complete lie. Like, they knew exactly what they were doing. And said, "Oh, we're addressing like the obvious, like the inequality or the disparity they've observed. How culinary jobs, so like your chefs and stuff,
Yes,
are 80% run by men.
Yes,
That's why when you look at like kind of like the top cooks in the world, like you definitely have good cooks in the world that you hear about, celebrity cooks that are women.
Yes,
but
the
I
top,
think
the top men.
But then,
it's been
when you're
for,
looking at like but you think the absolute best chefs in the world, you're thinking like Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
We're talking about celebrity chefs. You remember who's the one Gordon Ramsay is always at odds with?
I don't know. I was never a big Food Network guy, so I can't remember. But most of the top chefs were men, and there were
Anthony
women.
Bourdain.
Right? Yes, he's one. That's right. I mean, I don't give a shit about chefs. I don't know anything about chefs.
Okay, but you've seen like whether it's movie depictions or restaurants that you go to. Usually, you see it's guy that's running it.
The top chef would be a guy generally.
Yeah. Now they do, of course, they'll have like high level women who are working for them and stuff, but mostly it's men. So
yes,
addressing this, saying women belong in the kitchen, like it was meant to basically say women belong in the kitchen, kind of like as a matter of fact, not so much as a dig.
Correct. Well, they try. That's how they wanted it to come across. Correct.
Well, yeah. It's obviously the shock value of make me a sandwich.
Exactly. Go make me a sandwich.
So this takes off and everyone goes nuts, and then Burger King comes out and like addresses it,
it was fucking brilliant. It was so good. And then you got like what was the Stone Toss did the comic with the Giga Chad at the ad agency. I posted it on my Facebook. So he's there at the ad agency. The Giga Chad is a character, and he posts the tweet, right? So Burger King, they're women belong in the kitchen, and the executives are like, so how is this going to help us sell burgers? And of course he's like, burgers, like what burgers? So
but this is going to sell burgers though. That's the thing. Because everyone's going to be like, oh yeah, there's going to be like so many different takes on how this went, and like all it is just going to give Burger King more traffic. Like Burger King is already kind of like Burger King is Burger King. Like people go to Burger King, but I would say Burger King is still not quite, it's not McDonald's, and it's not like Wendy's even.
Sure.
In terms of like how it competes. So this will definitely give them a little boost in sales.
I mean, I of all of them, we don't have Wendy's out here in the UK. I prefer Burger King to McDonald's because it's flame broiled, as they say. So I actually prefer the kind of smokiness to it. I hope so. It's when you're trying to show yourself to be smart. So they make this very controversial tweet with the hope that it was going to go viral, which it did. And then they kind of attached a synopsis, but you kind of have to have a decent IQ to kind of understand the nuance of what they're trying to say. Mm-hmm. And you're expecting the autism and the rage culture of the internet to really get it. they're not gonna get it, right? It's just gonna be hate, and it's just gonna be. But they stood their ground. They didn't take it down, and yeah, I think with that, they definitely they definitely went ahead and they pushed the promotion. And I mean, we've seen it before. Oh, Amos has stepped away. He's got a quick thing to deal with. So for our listeners, I'm just going to rant a little bit for a bit. But yeah, I think it worked. I thought it was fantastic. The meme culture took it up. I think 4chan jumped all over it and be like, Burger King is right about women. The only thing that's kind of disturbing about it is the idea that they might be trying to push some kind of quotas to encourage women into the space. That's a bit concerning because, of course, some of the best chefs in the world might get pushed out from programs like that. Brian, I'm seeing it. Amos has stepped away. He's got a quick call from his office, so he's got to take the call. So he'll be back in a second. So, but yeah, I mean, you guys in the chat. I mean, I don't know if you all saw the commentary on the whole Burger King thing, and I mean, it's on top of a slew of pretty outrageous tweets that we've had. We've discussed a couple of them in the last show, where these companies and stuff like that are trying to cash in on the woke culture. And what do you think? You think the Burger King thing worked out? You think it didn't work out? I think they accomplished their task. And out here in the UK, I don't know if they're going to take a hit or not. It's going to be interesting, to see what comes of it. So yeah, you guys let me know what's going on, man. So as I say, guys, Amos has got a quick he's got a call from his office, so he's got to deal with that. He's going into work later today, so there are a couple of things that he has to get done beforehand. But yeah, you guys let me know. I mean, I'll just touch on the other topic that we probably want to go into eventually. There's been some rumors and speculations about the troop buildup out in Washington, D.C. There was a attempted conspiracy that on March 4th, said to be the true inauguration day, that there was a group of radical, right-wing militias and so forth that are supposed to be storming the capital of Washington, D.C. I don't know if anybody's heard about this. So they were basically talking about, there's this idea that these militias are going to show up, and that's why they justified having all of these troops out there. Anyway, welcome back, Amos. Did you sort out the office?
Yeah, the office is, they're calling me. They need my help.
Oh, do you got to go in?
I'm just kidding.
We got to cut it short?
No, we're good.
Yeah, I mean, I exhausted the Burger King thing, but I was talking about this conspiracy of, how the media's been caught in this alleged militia strike on March 4th. Did you hear about this?
Is that the QAnon thing?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, they're calling it a QAnon thing, which will kind of lead into the other aspect of it. So that they're basically this idea that March 4th is the true inauguration day in the United States. I don't know where this theories come from, to be quite honest, but the CNN and all of the mainstream media, as well as Congress, were basically saying they expected the militias to storm the Capitol on the 4th and to depose President Biden and install Trump, which is why they needed to have the troops there at least till the end of March, right? I don't know if you heard this or not. So obviously nothing happened, right? March 4th came and went. This conspiracy made it all the way to CNN. All of the left-wing media has been pushing this propaganda. The Capitol actually shut down early because of these rumors, and apparently the FBI and everybody else said it was a credible threat. And of course, nothing happened, right? So this has given rise to the internet meme of all of this conspiracy stuff as Blue Anon. Play of words on QAnon. It is now the Democrats coming up with their own ridiculous theories and their own conspiracies. And worse yet, it gets media coverage. So I don't know if you followed anything on this Blue Anon sort of thing.
I have not. I mean, I did hear that there were claims like QAnon was, talking about this second inauguration or whatever, and Trump is still going to be president. Someone even said technically Biden's not even really president. Trump's been president the whole time. And it's just like, what? But the fact that like the Democrats are basically kind of taking this and doubling down on it themselves as a way to justify basically locking down the
Washington
Capitol
D.C.
is
Yeah.
just like confusing.
Yeah, it suits. That's why I love the Blue Anon thing. I absolutely love it because it's so apt to the left wing conspiracies, which it was not just them hyping up. They expected, riots on Inauguration Day with Trump. They pushed the Russia hoax. You got Jesse Smollett and all that nonsense. The impeachment over Ukrainian scandals. The left has been pushing even more ridiculous, scandalous conspiracies. So I think it's about time they get labeled quite suitably that, this Blue Anon thing is actually very apt to describe what the mainstream media has been pushing. And it got so intense, actually, Google started censoring the searches for Blue Anon. So I recommended it for the title of this show, but I said, I know the algorithms are going to kill it because it's basically exposing their hypocrisy. It made its way onto Urban Dictionary. So Urban Dictionary actually got an entry for it. And then they were forced to take it down by the powers that be.
It's Urban Dictionary.
It's fucking Urban Dictionary, man. Right? I mean, that's where you get things like the crazy Melvin and all these ridiculous sexual positions and all of that's listed on Urban Dictionary. But no, the powers that be came out and it came down, and I believe it's back up now. Somebody can fact check me on that in the chat. So they put it back up. And yeah, I think it is so apt. These are the people who believe like the Charlottesville hoax about there's good people on both sides, and Trump has never denounced white supremacy. Like all of these ridiculous things that are so easily disproved. There is this sect of leftists that are just so bought into these left-wing conspiracies. I love it. Blue Anon, man. Fucking bring it on.
That's why we titled things the way we did, so we could get the names, get the words out, but not use the really triggering words.
Yeah. And we waited till past 30 minutes into it. So the algorithm or these searches, like the first 30 minutes before it. Yeah. So that's why we kept the good stuff till now, which was fine. You had to make the call. So
yes, I'm going into work a little bit later than usual, but they're all down with that because they really need the help today. So I'm heading in to work, and then I'll still have some time off for the rest of the week. So, but do we want to get into Muppets yet?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
So, as usual, like I'm actually surprised that you're keeping up more with it than I am, which is
only because it's controversy, bro.
Yeah. Which is D&D. Like you're keeping up with like sort of the community stuff. I'm over here. Quick little tidbit. So actually, this week and next week probably we'll see how it plays out. Basically, the next I'm approaching the end of this campaign that I've been running since last year, and we've got 2 more sessions. So this week and then next week, basically they're kind of fighting the final boss of the whole thing, and then there's going to be like an epilogue of sorts. And then I won't be doing D&D for a little bit until I move into the next thing. So, but yeah, it's a nice thing because most D&D campaigns die before they finish.
They don't even finish.
Yeah, they don't finish because just timing, scheduling, and all this stuff. People don't keep their interest anymore. It just kind of ends.
Yes.
There's a lot of commitment to basically following through to the end. But yeah, so you found out about this new project.
Yes.
Where, as usual, there's kind of like these quirky, I think kind of gimmicky kind of D&D things that are happening where like they'll have there's a lot of these Dungeons and Dragons like live sessions. You can watch people play, you can watch like funny clips of interactions between the players, dungeon masters, and all this.
Yes.
There's the popular Critical Role. So they're like the most popular one. They have campaigns that run on for years and they play for hours on end. And it's like watching a show. And then you get some like more sort of like parody or just for fun type of things. And then there was this one involving Muppets.
Puppets.
Puppets.
Copyright situation. It's puppets. Not
Puppets.
Muppets. It's not from Jim Henson.
So
as far as
basically,
I know.
like while they're playing, they're doing what they're doing. They're playing. They have puppets reenacting everything. Like, what is their character doing? Some people are endeavoring to like make comics or animations about their stuff. Some people write out stories, but this one they're using puppets.
Yes.
And I was like, well, what is this? Okay, so puppet D&D, whatever. And
Until
I
you
just
saw
saw
it.
and then I saw it and I was like, so because I was wondering if this is where you got this other thing. So I'm in like on Reddit.
Yes.
I'm in the D&D subreddit as well as the D&D memes subreddit.
Okay.
And there was this whole debate over whether or not there's different like these races in D&D.
Right.
Humans, elves, dwarves, halflings, which are basically hobbits, copyright.
Right.
And there's another one called lizard folk.
Okay.
So they're basically, as they are, they're humanoid lizards.
Okay.
And there was a debate whether or not lizard folk have boobs.
Okay, I do.
Are they humanoid to that degree?
Interesting.
Yeah. And then, of course, I mean, you got to think about these are the topics that come up. This is like our traps gay conversation.
Yeah.
Nerds on the internet making, and it turns into a meme of stuff.
Do lizard people have boobs?
So, yeah. So I was like, maybe this tied into that because you said puppet boobs, and no,
this has nothing to do with that.
So one of the characters, and like, there's always funny names people try to make. Like,
wait, hold on. We gotta explain it, right? So, Stuff of Legends is a 3-part YouTube series that is following this D&D game.
Yeah,
which is so people understand what's going on. It's being broadcast on YouTube, and everybody had a part to play in developing their puppet. And one of the puppets is causing quite a stir. It's causing quite a lot of undulation on the internet. And would you like to explain why said puppet?
So her character is called Areola Borealis.
Areola Borealis, that's right.
But not spelled exactly like that.
No.
Borealis is spelled like Aurora Borealis, but Areola is spelled a little bit differently than areola being what the region around your nipple. So anatomy lesson, everyone.
Yeah.
So and of course she like taking part in making her character, making her puppet.
Yes.
She wanted to make a puppet with the largest possible boobs you can put on a puppet.
Yes.
Now, granted, it's also stereotypically kind of had the whole female armor, as they call it, which is very revealing, but still armor, I guess.
I don't know if you could pull it up for our viewers, so I'll just say so. Yes,
actually, I'll pull up. I'll pull up what you sent me on Facebook.
Yeah, send it to me. We could just show our viewers very quickly. But yeah, so it's a woman that's requested this puppet, and the designer who actually he designed it, he just said this because of all the controversy. He said, "Fun fact: I wanted the actors to have full control over the design of their characters." So he lists one of the users. He said this guy wanted a fish puppet with crazy eyes. So that's Slippery Richardson, right? Slippery Dick, for those who don't make the connection. And then he went on to say, and this next character, who's a woman, her name is Shanna Malcolm, was very specific, saying she wanted to have Ari have the biggest boobs possible on her puppet.
Yeah. So here we go. Six episode series.
Yes.
62 Dungeons and Dragons campaign, mashing with good old fashioned role playing and puppets. Yes, you read that right. Puppets.
Not Muppets. That would be a copyright strike, but puppets. Let's go down to our guys.
So here's the here's the cast. Joshua Ovenshire, the Dungeon Master, Lisa Foyles, Lasercorn. So these people are also using like online names. Shannon Malcolm and Brandon Rogers. Now Shanna Malcolm is the one that created the character Areola Borealis.
Yes.
Brandon Rogers, Slippery Richardson, Hatchet Hand, that's Lasercorn, and then Magelica Plum.
Yeah, Magelica Plum, that's it.
Is Lisa Foyles. So as you can see, these are the puppets. So they got, they're really puppet looking. Slippery Richardson, he's they're playing these different races. So you see dwarf, a mage, so I'm guessing she's a human here. And then Slippery Richardson is playing a Kuoto, which is like a very obscure race in D&D. And then Dragonborn. Dragonborn are basically like dragon-headed humanoids.
Right.
Areola Borealis with, her female armor. So
why the puppet have titties? Like that was a very popular comment on Twitter with this whole thing. I mean, we can't zoom in. We can't really get it any bigger, can we? No, I don't think so. I put the link in the chat if anybody wants to kind of take a look at the character. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah. So, I mean, look at her. She looks like AOC, if you ask me. She looks kind of like, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Why can't I?
Why can't you shift it across?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's all right. But for our viewers, she's red. She looks like a Fraggle from Fraggle Rock, so maybe we could call her Fraggle Rock. And
oh god, well, I said she's a Dragonborn. Dragonborn typically they have dragon skin, so they're like red or yeah. So
yeah. So she looks like a Fraggle from Fraggle Rock, if anybody gets the 80s reference, but she's got big bazumbas with the armor that goes with big bazumbas, right? Now, the Twitter sphere, of course, is losing their shit over this whole thing and saying, oh, this is, continuing the stereotypes of sexism in comics and fantasy. And anybody who's seen Dungeons and Dragons artwork from the 80s and shit like that, damn fucking right, it's sexism.
Oh, have you? I mean, a lot of people try to get like, while trying to respect the creator of D&D, Gary Gygax. They'll kind of play up, but they'll also like try to always go back to referring how like he had, we'll just say, older ideas.
Yeah, they try to cancel this guy.
Like the creator of your game that you're like shitting on right now, like. No one has managed. Like no one's going to cancel him. I believe.
Yeah, it would be impossible.
I would hope, but the thing is, but they still will like bring up like, hey, look at this one thing he wrote about women in official like reference books. Mm-hmm. He would make certain claims and ideas and such. It's like okay, whatever. Like it's most people are kind enough to kind of go, yeah, it's just how it was back then. Whatever. But yeah, it's like,
I mean, this is what I don't get. The leftists are all about representation, right? They're all about, we need to see ourselves in these characters and whatever. So are they trying to say that big-breasted women are not entitled to representation in puppets? Like, is there a campaign against like big titties? I can't support that.
There was a woman, I think, that got semi-viral for taking a picture of herself holding up a sign that said "Big boobs matter" or "Big tits matter."
Yeah, because I mean, this controversy is not limited to this. There's also been the whole thing with the new She-Ra that came out, which I didn't watch. It's on Netflix, but I saw how they redrew it. Now, anybody who saw the 80s cartoon with She-Ra and He-Man, He-Man was like basically Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime. He's all buff and muscles on muscles. And She-Ra was a fucking babe, right? She had like big tits and blonde hair and, perfect waist.
There was also a controversy over Wonder Woman.
Right. I mean, so this is the same thing. When they redrew the She-Ra, she had no titties, right? She was like kind of androgynous looking. Like what happened to the titties, right? And the same thing as you say, when they did Wonder Woman, I quite like Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, but if you look at Wonder Woman in the old comics, The bitch had big titties. Like, you know, like what is wrong with big titties? You know, those get represented. I mean, they've already whitewashed every redhead in the comic books and race swapped them. So they have something against redheads, right? And I like redheads. Now they're going after the titties, man. Like, for fuck's sake, bro. Like, why are they doing this to our childhood? I don't know.
I don't know if you know, there's literally a so there's an actual comic, part of one of the comics with Wonder Woman where definitely showed you what was on the artist's mind.
Right.
So we all know, like, she has these Amazonian bracelets that she uses to block.
Oh, I know
bullets.
the one you're talking about. Yeah.
So she's blocking bullets, and then I think Superman comes up and goes,
Yeah, Superman.
"Do you really need to block them? Like, you're indestructible." She goes, "Not really." And then she puts her hands down, and all of a sudden it's just bouncing off her boobs.
Her big titties.
Yeah,
and everyone starting to jiggle. Like an anime chick running in her movie, right? It's all over the place.
No one tries to cancel anime.
Oh, they're trying. Oh, yeah. No, they are trying. I mean, it's just the Japanese don't give a fuck, right? I think I don't know if I said
titties? Bigger titties.
Yeah, they're going after the titties in anime as well. But I don't know if I sent you this I guess I pulled it off Reddit. It was a meme. It's like SpongeBob and his snail friend are sitting in a chair, and all of a sudden this giant rock just like slides into his pineapple house and like crushes him up against the wall. And the tagline is him and the snail are the bra, and the big rock is like big hentai titties.
I think I sent you a video. It was like, okay, so I've got this idea. It's like this really Italian, like stereotypically Italian sounding guy. He's like, right, so I got this idea for a new anime, right? So there's this new student that comes into school, and she's got some massive kahungas, massive barunga dunga doo. Like, it's just, and then there's this new transfer student with even bigger badunga lunga dungas. Like, and it's just like what every anime pretty much is.
Yeah, like every anime meeting ever. So F in the chat for all the big titties that are not, you know, they're trying to cancel guys. Like I don't think they deserve representation.
I mean, you heard about how everyone was going nuts over the Lola Bunny thing, right?
This is in Space Jam 2, right? Because
they
redrew her.
They redesigned Lola Bunny to make her like less sexy, and both sides of the aisle were like, "No, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?"
Like,
we want sexy Lola Bunny.
This is where the furries came from. The furries came from Lola Bunny and Space Jam, right? This is where it starts. And they covered her up. So in Space Jam, she had kind of like a tank top, and her midriff was showing, sort of thing. And she had some curves on her. You don't want to see what Reddit did to her. Reddit took it to the extreme and gave her like big honking titties, right? But in the remake, they covered her up, right? I haven't seen the second one, but I seen the artwork and stuff like that. So it's disappointing. I don't know. Have you heard the controversy about Big Hero 6 and what Reddit is going through? Big Hero 6 is Pixar, and he's got like his mom and stuff like that. Anyway, some idiot on Reddit in like the dank meme group, there's a shot where his mom or whoever is kind of leaning over the table and she's talking to her son, right? And somebody went and digitally edited that and like made some big fucking titties, right?
Dude,
and
if it exists, this is Rule 34.
Rule 34.
If it exists, there's porn of it.
There's a porn of it, right? So I mean, but it was covered up. It was just massive cleavage on the Big Hero 6, right? And all of Reddit went nuts. And everybody started watching Big Hero 6 and being very disappointed that scene doesn't exist. So there's this like internal war going on with the meme lords over the disappointment of the lack of big titties. So F in the chat, Disney's big on ass, right? Pixar is big on ass, but they're not big on titties. We gotta get equal representation out there, guys. So big titties? Like, are you a big titty guy?
Yes. Yes.
And for more details on that, be sure to join us in Subscribe Star, where Amos describes the types of titties he likes.
Check out our subscribe to everyone. As my voice cracks. Sorry.
Oh, Jessica Rabbit is next. Oh, if they do that, that would be sacrilege, bro. No, you don't touch Jessica Rabbit. That's going too far.
Yeah. Trying to think here. So,
yeah, we got the big UK controversy. If you want to get into that.
So, I mean, for me personally, not really, but
me personally, but not really.
but because I'm an American.
Because I'm an American. American as fuck.
The royal family.
Right.
But not really though. So
yeah, not literally, right?
Meghan Markle and Prince Harry.
It is so funny that everybody calls her name before his. I was just noticing that. But yes, Meghan Markle and
I
Prince
think because her name is spoken more. Like the whole drama with that starts with her.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. She is the I guess the antagonist in the scenario. So she's kind of Have you been following the story?
So I'm trying to think alphabetical order. No, that's not.
No. They, I mean, he is the prince of, what is it? The Duke of Sussex is his title. He's technically an heir to the throne. He's, I think, fifth or third. So it would go Charles, William, and really he can't really get it unless William's family dies, right? So William has 2 kids. So unless all of them, so he would be 5th in line to the throne, technically speaking. Nobody gives a shit about him. It's like it's all about Meghan.
So they went on Oprah
and
had this whole discussion. I didn't listen to it. I mean, I've seen little
I'm
bits
not
and
going
pieces.
to listen to it.
Basically, I mean, we've known for a while there's drama in the royal family. There's scandal and all this stuff. And, I all I had to do was watch a few episodes of The Crown to understand that. They paint this picture of Meghan Markle is basically taking Harry away from everything, and he's renounced a lot of things, has stepped away from the family. They don't get whatever money they get.
I mean, you're jumping ahead. You're jumping ahead. Let's lay it out.
Well, I'm laying it out because we've known about all this. Like this has all been happening too. Like
yes, yeah.
They don't get the money anymore.
Well, that's a more recent something that has happened. So you kind of have to go back a little bit because, she married into the family, and all things being said, eventually they decided to leave the royal family and go to originally Canada. And the excuse that was given was they wanted a quiet life. They wanted to step away from all the publicity and raise their son. I think his name is Archie. I might be wrong. In a quiet setting. And she went to Canada. I think Toronto or one of those places. But
yeah,
I think
quiet.
Yeah, like real. I think it actually might have been Vancouver where they shoot all the movies. So like the movie, the TV series she was in, Suits, like Stargate, all those things, they're all shot in Vancouver. She might have actually gone there, which again kind of
Stargate.
No, she wasn't in Stargate, but she was in Suits. So, but all of those movies, all of those TV shows are shot.
Meghan Markle, it's Stargate. What?
No. But I mean, all of those shows like Smallville, Lois and Superman, all of those are shot in Vancouver. So I think she may have gone there and she kind of linked up with her actress friend or whatever. Anyway, eventually they moved to LA. And it's kind of like, what the hell? You're going to go to LA? And, moving as the Duke and Duchess, there's security, there's all types of logistics and stuff like that. And, at one point, the royal family, like, well, why are we paying for all this security? And they actually wanted Donald Trump to pick up the bill, for their said security. To which he's like, fuck you, we're not paying for that. So there's been tension building for a while. Now we started to see the cracks of this when Harry and his brother, so William, who is, heir to the throne, they had the tragedy of their mother's death. They've been through thick and thin. I mean, they were inseparable. And suddenly there was an estrangement between the two of them over issues surrounding Megan and the family. She got him to sell all of his hunting rifles because she's vegan and loves the animals. And she took him away from his brother and the family. So she doesn't have very good standing in the United Kingdom to start with, because you lied. You say you want a quiet life. You go out there, you get $100 million Spotify podcast deal, and you're writing like these tell-all books shitting on the royal family, and then you decide to do this interview with Oprah. Now, preemptively, which I think was a fuck up by the palace, they said that there's been an investigation started because Meghan has been accused of bullying some of her staff and like some of her, some of the people out there and stuff like that. So they kind of preemptively, before the Oprah interview, kind of said, well, there's this accusation that she's a bit of a bully and she's a bit of a diva and she bullied the queen, saying like, this is, the queen will pick her tiara, basically her crown. She didn't like it. And, there was like tension between the two of them because the queen is like, you fucking wear what I tell you to wear. You do not get to pick what you want. So kind of poisoning the well. That was kind of what's going on. And then came the interview. Now you've looked at clips of it. I'm not even going to bother to look at clips. So I don't know. What did you see in the clips that you saw?
There was one part Harry is talking about how like, having a discussion with the queen,
yes,
and wanting to like meet up with her or something, and I guess she was just busy.
Right. He did. Okay.
And kept saying like, I'm busy, and like seemed like more of an excuse rather than actually being busy.
Right.
And that just kind of turned like just kind of getting a cold shoulder from the family.
Right.
Those were literally like a minute of just him describing a situation where he called, trying to get a hold of her, and she was just, "Oh, I've got this going in today." Okay. And I'm busy the rest of the week. Okay.
Right.
And just kind of distancing and stuff. And of course I've seen all the memes about how like, oh, woe is me, rich couple complaining about being oppressed, like
while being interviewed by a billionaire.
Yeah. Billionaire being interviewed by a billionaire talking about being oppressed.
Yeah.
Like, granted, family drama is family drama. Like, that sucks for anybody. We all go through it.
Yes.
But complaining about it on national TV, come on.
Yeah. That's kind of
now this is where I'm kind of thinking like, okay, the royal family, like the royal family is a weird political thing for you Brits.
Yes.
It's because it is kind of part of your politics in a way.
It is part of the politics.
Because it's like this is basically political news in a monarchy.
Yes.
Within a family of a monarchy. Whereas with us, the drama is our congressman and president and stuff, what they do in their time. Like what
Correct.
The drama there. But even that doesn't really get to this point where it's like now there's a scandal. Now there's like, argument.
Oh yeah, I mean you get scandals.
So, yeah, but scandal for us is like the individuals, where scandal for you guys is like within the family, between the members. Whose side are you?
You guys got that too. The Kennedys definitely had their share of scandals. The Clintons, let's not even talk about that. The Bushes, yeah, you got some dynasty families that have their fair share of trauma. Don't tell them you got evidence.
It seems more involved for you guys though.
Well, yeah, because it's a much longer standing institution.
Yeah, it's more ingrained, I should say. It goes deeper for you guys.
Sure.
So it's interesting seeing that, where it's like, so here I am kind of like, who gives a fuck about these people? And you guys, and for most Brits are like, ooh, this is news. And I'm like, what?
I don't think most Brits really care about Meghan and Harry. They didn't like her. And this is the nonsense, right? Anybody who's seen Meghan Markle, right? She's what, half black. But if you look at her, you would never suspect that she was black. And the truth is, most of the British people didn't know who she was, and none of them even considered her to be a person of color until she started playing the race card. Until she actually started saying, it's racial discrimination and all these different types of things. And that is kind of where the British people we didn't even know, right? This is nonsense.
The thing that I always heard when she was coming into the family, the wedding and all this, was really just her status as a person, not her race as a person. And
nobody. As far as I know.
It's just she's a pretty woman and Harry likes her and wanted to marry her. Yeah. There's that. But they're looking into her history. Okay, what has she done? What job she, her status. Yeah. She, what she does. And they weren't too approving of that.
I don't think, well, this is what she's saying, but I don't think that's necessarily true at all.
You think she's probably just stirring up?
I think she is, because if you look at her, you'd think she was Italian, Spanish, white. You wouldn't suspect her to be a person of color. So to spin around and say, one of the accusations she made in the interview, from what I understand, from reading the scandal sheets, was that there was a discussion among some people in the royal family about how brown would the child be, which is a ludicrous statement. You take one look at her, and she's marrying the ginger prince. Prince Harry is ginger, glow in the dark, pale skin, red hair. That's not a mix that's going to.
The baby's going to be whiter than me, and I already look white.
Yeah, it's kind of ludicrous to look at that, and even if she's half African or whatever, that's not really a question that would really come up, considering who she's having the kid with. Mm-hmm. I am 1/16th African, right? So I'm 2 generations away from an African ancestor. So it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous for people to kind of suggest that that's the case. But she put it forward, and no evidence, no proof. The problem, of course, is, I don't know if somebody said this in the chat. I don't know if they saw it or not. The problem is how the monarch is responding is kind of hypocritical.
Yeah.
Right. So the monarch has basically put out a statement basically saying racism bad. It's the worst offense, and it has no place within the royal family. Right. Okay. The problem is you got Prince, what's his name? Prince Edward? No. Prince Philip. No, Philip. The guy who was Prince Andrew, right? Who was very friendly with a guy who ran pedophile island called Jeffrey Epstein. They were the best of friends. So you're telling me that accusations of racism within the royal family, worst possible offense, must be investigated. But you have a potential pedophile in the royal family and you're not going to do anything about it? Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. So Meghan is holding all the cards in this respect, because there's very little that they can really do. And as a result of this, because the British people are not pleased with this. You don't fuck with the Queen. You don't fuck with the royal family. You don't take their prince away from them and drag him off and basically leave him miserable, depressed, and all these other things to promote your podcast and, try to get famous. So there's a outcry right now, okay, strip them of their title, which is the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and remove their basically their allowance for doing queen, for family duties. That's the kind of cry that's coming out now. And the last thing that she said, which was absolutely ridiculous, and she blamed it on racism, was her kids, Andrew, and I don't know the name of their kids, but she implied that because the children were mixed race, they are not entitled to have the title of, His Royal Highness or Prince or Princess, as the case might be. Which is a flat out lie. That's not how the lines of succession and not how the titles are passed down. Now, I'm not sure which prince or king did this, but basically the direct lineage gets it, and the children and the grandchildren get it, once they're in succession. But her kids are her great grandchildren. They're not grandchildren; they're great grandchildren. So once she passes the throne to Charles, then they are entitled to get, prince and princess or whatever, her kids will be. So blaming it on race, it's a cheap shot, right? It's kind of like, oh, fuck, you played the race card. Didn't see that coming, So it's not looking good. And I think most of the Brits at least have kind of caught on to it and be like, this is nonsense.
Yeah. I really wonder if she's just stirring it up on her end. Like it's not actually happening the way they claim it is.
I would strongly suggest that is the case. Obviously, you can't say for sure, because if there is any real racism and all that, I'm condemn that completely. But the British are not particularly racist. They're classist. So there's the royal family and then there's the peasantry. If you're not going to the right school, you're not one of us. There's definitely class issues in the UK. I don't see a lot of like direct racial discrimination. Not saying it doesn't happen. Of course it happens. There's racism everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's not. It hasn't held anybody back. We've had people of color reach the tops of industry. Got into the House of Parliament. They've always been very accommodating to, the colonies. Well, not always. I mean, once it was, the common, before it was the Commonwealth, there was certain issues with colonialism,
Right.
but they've extended great educational opportunities, other things. And the British Empire nearly bankrupted itself trying to end the slave trade out of West Africa. They launched the Navy, and I think we've been paying that debt off for like 200 years. It was only recently kind of like finally paid off. So the UK was one of the first Western countries to actively work against slavery and these other things. And did they do the best job? No, I don't think it was necessarily the best idea to pay all the slave owners to buy the slaves and then let them go. But they did what they could. So it's a bit disingenuous of her to kind of spin around and just say that as if it's natural. Like that's everything in British society and the royal family is racist.
Right. Yeah, I just again, it's just the whole what do you really have to complain about when you're I mean
she's literally your princess.
Yeah, even without the money that they're getting from the royal family, they're still millionaires.
Yeah. The combined worth of at least $50 million.
Like,
they fly in private jets.
Just hire someone to manage everything, and you could live happily forever.
It is. What irritates me to no end is this couple of people fly around in private jets. They're A-list stars at all of these events. Living in the lap of luxury, carrying the title of Duke and Duchess. They got everything. And they want to lecture us about oppression. And they want to lecture us about things like global warming.
TV.
Yeah, it's hypocrisy 101, man. Like, it's the same thing like the people of Davos who go and they fly there in their private jets and they talk about global warming, right? It's like John Kerry went in a private jet to collect some environmental award. Like you flew on a fucking private jet for environmentalism and your activism in global warming. What the fuck? Yeah, that is that. And I think people are caught onto it. They're not buying this bullshit anymore. At least I mean, the few British people I've spoken to, they're kind of like, nah, fuck it. She's full of shit. That's kind of the attitude they have.
Yeah, like I said, as an American, fuck the royal family.
I don't think the royal family is going to survive. I think after Queenie passes, I don't think there's anybody else that has the charisma to keep it
Charles
together.
would take over as king, right?
Yeah, and he's not well liked. He's not very charismatic. He's not well liked. Some people have proposed there might be a referendum to install William instead of him, kind of bypass him.
Do that?
I don't know. Honestly, don't know. But there are people who would, because they don't think if Charles gets it, they don't think the family will survive. He's not going to be popular. He's not particularly well liked, and he's not good PR for the family.
the power that they have is not even really there anymore.
Oh no. Royal prerogative is the power of the government. He can absolve the parliament whenever he wants.
I know, but I mean, for him to do that would be pretty.
Yeah, it'd be drastic. It would be country destroying. But they do have the power.
UK turns back into a straight monarch,
like a direct monarch. Yeah, no, technically he has the power to do it. Well, she has it right now. She's not going to act on it, and it's convention that she does not flex her political leanings one way or the other. She's just kind of a puppet, but she actually does hold all the power.
Oh man, I think we've talked about this before. Like, it's just so weird.
It is weird. It is bizarre in this day and age.
So basically, Parliament is just a glorified property manager.
I mean, it's more than that because she does. What I'm getting,
like, but
yeah,
it's just run the country for me. I'm just gonna go do Queen stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of, I mean, Parliament is the seat of the power of the people, as long as she allows the democracy to stand.
Yeah, that's the thing is, just run things for me while I go, not run this country. But at any moment, she could be like, no, I'm going to run this country now. Yeah, and she gets money from the from Parliament, so she is and I think they agree to that. Do they determine what she gets?
It's a fixed amount. I think it's like 400 million pounds.
Did they vote on it, or does she decide, like, demand it?
No, they put her on a stipend. They put her on a budget, and it's not that they don't get anything. They, in exchange for that, she's given up certain lands that the government is basically renting from them, and things like the Tower of London and other things where her crown jewels are kept, and other things that are big tourist attractions. The government, all of these things are on loan.
Does the royal family have its own revenue streams separate from the government?
Yeah. They have land, they have castles, they have other things, but the bulk of it probably comes from the state. It's complicated. It's because it's so old. It's such an old institution. It's very, very hard to kind of really put all the pieces together. But yeah, it's interesting.
All right, let's see what else was there. Was there anything else?
I don't know. Let me see. We did the Bewbs. We did the royal family's racisms. We did Blue On, Burger King, GameStop. Yeah, I think we kind of covered it there. Oh, Texas is going to finish the wall. That's the last thing. Did you hear about that?
Yeah. So, real quick on that too, before we wrap it up.
Yeah.
I heard apparently we have way more illegal immigrants crossing the border
now. Yes,
there were 800 a day during Trump.
Yes,
at least towards the end. Now there's 6,000 a day.
Yes,
which is especially plus with the cut in resources to the agencies that handle this, it's become unsustainable from what I've heard.
Correct.
Now, for me, I'm just thinking, like, there's different, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of problems that can come of this. I'm just thinking, like, but no matter how you slice it, that's just a bad situation.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, again, not saying everyone that comes across that border is, has ill intentions or whatever, but definitely more of those types are coming across because of this.
Yeah, they're taking advantage of.
You take advantage of understanding that, one president is going to be more lenient on the border than another.
Correct.
So yeah,
it's concerning, especially for the southern states who have to basically bear the brunt of it. And Texas, Biden made a comment about Texas reopening. They're getting rid of all the restrictions, call it a Neanderthal move, and they were caught releasing a bunch of economic migrants across that were actually infected with COVID.
That was another funny one. Like, The whole COVID thing. COVID. You know, we're screaming about COVID all day, but then we're just gonna let a bunch of people with COVID cross the border. Like,
yeah, that tested positive. So Texas understands that they're going to be a strain on their resources. So
Texas just opened themselves up too.
Yeah, so exactly. So this is where the jobs are going to be. You know, these people are probably not want to go anywhere else. They're probably going to stay in Texas. So Texas is going to take the resources they have and finish the wall that was nearly complete, from what I understand, at least to seal off their side of the border. So basically, Biden is not really running the country. Right? He's running the blue states, but the red states are just kind of like, well, fuck you. We're going to do what we want.
States' rights. I mean,
states' rights. Yeah, which is probably why he's not doing a State of the Union, because he can't really come up there and say the union is strong, because all the red states are kind of like, fuck you. Mississippi's open, Florida's open, Texas is open, and he's screaming about triple masks and, you know, anal swabs. And no, Biden has lost the plot, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully he'll do something interesting for the next show, because he's apart from a dog biting somebody and them getting rid of the German Shepherd, I don't think anything is really going on with Biden.
No, not really.
Not really.
But anyways.
Yeah, you've got to head out, so we're going to have to cut it short, right?
Once again, 10K Rum is the coupon code at Tactical Soap to get 10% off so you can wash your balls.
Wash your balls, guys.
Or go to subscribestar.com/Shitler-Preachers, where you can pledge to the show for as little as $1 a month or $5 a month, so you can listen to us talk about real spicy topics in our Raw Take series.
Like if Amos likes a finger in his ass during sex.
Shh. Hey. So, we do thank everyone for joining us, of course. Check us out on all major podcasting platforms. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a like, leave a comment. Check out all our social media links below. And everything is, of course, down there. We do thank everyone for joining us, of course. We will see everyone next week.
Thanks for watching, everyone.